What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This your boy 49er Dion back here with another video, man. So I gave y'all a video just to give y'all a recap on the draft. Now let's get into some statistics about these guys and kind of get to know the players that we went ahead and picked up in the draft. So first guy we went, first of all, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, definitely turn on the post notifications so you can keep yourself up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. Here we go. First guy we draft, Javon Kinlaw. Big man, South Carolina. 6'6", 310 pounds. So 2017, he played 7 games. He had 17 tackles. 2 tackles for a loss, 1 pass defense, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 forced fumble, no sacks. So in 2018, he played 10 games, 30 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, 5 passes defense, and 2 forced fumbles. 2019, played 12 games, 35 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, 6 sacks, 2 passes defense, 2 fumble recoveries, and no forced fumbles. When you look at Kinlaw's tape, the pressure this guy generates is just unbelievable. Just flat out unruly what he does. And the one thing I loved about the tape, and this is what I like from defensive linemen, his passes defense. Look at his PDs. He had 5 in 2018. He had 2 in 2019. The one thing that I love is if you can't get to the QB, get your hands up to knock the ball down. At a bare minimum, if you are in his throwing lane, but you can't actually physically get to him to touch him for whatever reason, if you get your hands up, 9 times out of 10, it will knock off the trajectory of the ball. If you tip it just slightly, boom, play made. No need to be worried about a sack. You still made a play. I love that about Kinlaw. His motor is unbelievable. It's great. So I like this kid. I like Javon Kinlaw. Yeah, he did perfect. This was a really perfect replacement for DeForest Buckner. I'm not gonna lie. This kid, man, if you haven't seen him, man, you go watch some tape on him. He's nasty. He gets up the middle and he's quick. He is very fast off that line. He got some giddy up on him. So there's nothing about Kinlaw that's giving me cause for pause. I say, hey, the dude's well worth it. Great job with this pick. Awesome pick. Next up, we got Brandon Aiyuk, 5'11", 205, out of Arizona State. Now, 2018, he played 13 games. He had 33 receptions for 474 yards with 14 yards per catch and 3 TDs. Now, I think that was when N'Keal Harry was still there. So Harry was sucking up most of the plays and getting most of the throws and everything like that. So, yeah, it's going to be kind of hard for him to produce. But, I mean, 14.4 yards per catch ain't nothing, that's nothing to laugh at. That's still, shit, you averaging almost, a first down and a half pretty much almost. So that's not bad. You know what I'm saying? 2019, no N'Keal Harry. He was drafted by the Patriots. So he's not there. He's not in the way. And Aiyuk takes over as the top receiver. 12 games, 65 receptions, 1,192 yards, 18.3 yards per catch. So his yards per catch jumped up almost 4 yards, 8 TDs, and he had 1 carry for 6 yards. And he had some punt return and kick return ability. So I watched the highlights on this kid. I like him. Aiyuk is like drafting a second Deebo Samuel to an extent. The reason is because he's just a fighter. When I watched his highlights and I looked at the tape and I kind of took a look at his profile and everything like that. To me, it sounds like that's what he is. He's another Deebo, and there's nothing wrong with having more Deebos on the squad because you see what he did last year. So once again, I mean, I have to say this was a good pick. Not for 25, for 31. I'm going to stick to that. I'm not going to move from that. I don't care how anyone feels about it. I feel like he would have been there at 31. We got smoke blown up our ass by Green Bay. Whatever. It is what it is. He's on the squad. Welcome, Brandon Aiyuk. Nothing against him personally. That was all me just not being happy with Lynch's moves. But as far as I can see from the tape, he's got kick return and punt return ability, and he's a great receiver. He'll take a hit, he fights for the catches, and he comes back to the ball. I saw that a lot. ASU's quarterback would be getting hit, and his ball wouldn't have the velocity that it was supposed to get. I saw a lot of catches where he came back to the ball and or the ball was in the air too long, so he went and made a play rather than just kind of standing there and watching it flutter like he was chasing butterflies or something. Some players do that, which doesn't make any sense. Ayuk will go get the ball, he will make the play. So great pickup, great pickup. I like the kid. Kid looks really good. Colton Mikovits is our next pick that we drafted. Colton Mikovits is 6'6", 306 pounds. So he played all four years at West Virginia. So he started out at right tackle, and then his senior year he moved over to left tackle. He even played a little bit of guard while he was there. But I mean, the kid's got 47 starts, 4 years in the Big 12. He was Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year, first team All Big 12. And the offenses that he was a part of were very prolific. They were either leading the country in rushing, leading the country in yards per game. So he's been a part of some big things. But the main thing I see here, the reason why he got drafted, Kyle Shanahan likes him some versatile offensive linemen. So this is another Kyle pick. Kinlaw was Lynch. Kinlaw was Lynch and Saleh. They said we got to find a way to replace DeForest. We need to make sure that happens, and that's what it was. So I'm not taking anything away from Colton Mikovits. I don't know much about him. I did watch a little bit of film on him just to try to get a grasp for who he was. But by all accounts, this is a Kyle Shanahan pick because he loves a lineman that can play anywhere. So Mikovits, if he can make the squad, is definitely going to be another Daniel Brunskill. I can play tackle. I can play guard. And because he's a right tackle primarily and just played left tackle, what he will do is if he makes a squad, you'll see him backing up McGlinchey because we don't have a viable right tackle backup for Mike. Most of our guys are either guards or left tackles. So I can understand that. So great pickup there. The guy was a part of some prolific offenses in West Virginia that put up some big numbers. The Big 12 is not a division in college football for the faint of heart. You go up there, you play with the Big 12, you playing with some big boys, you playing with some real competition. So great pickup, man. Love the fact that this guy is versatile. He can play left tackle, he can play right tackle, and it looks like he played right guard several times. So I have no issues with that. Next guy we pick up is a tight end out of Georgia, Charlie Woerner. So Charlie Woerner, 6'4", 244 pounds, running 4.78 40. By all accounts, his numbers are nothing really. Be honest with 2016, 5 games, 5 receptions, 50 yards, 10 yards catch, no TDs. 2017, 6 games, 9 receptions, 100 yards, 11.1 yards per catch, no TDs. 2018, 9 games, 11 receptions, 148 yards, 13.5 yards per catch, no TDs. 2019, 7 games, 9 receptions, 78 yards, 8.7 yards per catch, 1 TD. So his numbers don't jump off the screen and you're like, ooh, I got to get this guy, man. Oh, shit. This is a blocking tight end. That's what he is. I know when we drafted George was a blocking tight end as well. But the one thing I can say about George is his athleticism jumped off the tape. When you look at Charlie Woerner, he's a blocking tight end. That's what he is. They may be able to turn him into a pass catching tight end. I get it. I really do. But this guy's not going to be better than Ross Dwelley. He's not. I understand there's been knocks on Dwelley, and there's things that, we would like him to work on, and he's not like a really big playmaking tight end, but he is a great pass catcher, and he does pretty cool in the blocking. He filled in admirably for Juice when he went down, playing that fullback position to try to give us a little bit of time to let Juice heal up and get back. So, Warner, blocking tight end. So if you bring him in and he makes the squad, that's probably going to be his primary job. So they can probably move George more into just a receiving tight end type of situation. George loves to block. Don't get me wrong. He loves to block. This guy loves taking a man, putting him on his back. I mean, hell, in the Atlanta Falcons game, they caught a shot of him running dude over into the end zone and laughing. He just laughing uncontrollably. So I get it, but they probably want to move George more into a pass catching tight end role rather than just blocking. So they'll probably, if this guy were to make the squad, I think that's his primary job, is just being the blocking tight end and working on that. And he seemed to be great at that in college. That was what people were saying about him. That's why he dropped so far, because his main thing was blocking. If you're looking at the numbers, it definitely wasn't pass catching. So, Charlie Warner, tight end, Georgia, 6'4", 244. So then our last actual draft pick is somebody who surprised me very much so after I did my film study. Jauan Jennings, wide receiver out of Tennessee, 6'3", 215 pounds. Now I like the size already. That to me is great. You know what I'm saying? We got ourselves a nice big receiver. So here's the thing. 2015, 10 games, 14 receptions, 149 yards, 10.6 yards per carry, no TD. Yeah, 10.6 yards per catch, I apologize. No TDs. 7 carries, 15 yards, average 2.1 yards per carry. So he's a little versatile. They've been using him a little bit. Then we've got 2016, 13 games, 40 catches, 580 yards, 14.5 yards per catch, 7 TDs, 5 carries, 27 yards, 5.4 yards per carry. No rushing TDs, but that's damn good. So then we get 3 more years of eligibility. Now this is not uncommon in college football, but it's kind of rare when when you wind up in the NFL, it happens like that. So 2017, he only played 1 game. He had 3 receptions, 17 yards, 5.7 yards per catch, and that was pretty much it. Now, 2018, 11 games, 30 receptions, 438 yards, 14.6 yards per catch, 3 TDs, no rushing stats to be heard of. 2019, 13 games, 59 receptions, 969 yards, 16.4 yards per catch, 8 TDs, 13 carries, 51 yards, 3.9 yards per catch, 1 TD. Now, the one thing that I didn't grab with him, the guy has passing stats, and he's not too bad throwing the ball. Something happened to make this guy slide as far as he did, which didn't make any sense. It really didn't. But by all accounts, this kid is a great receiver, and he had a fantastic year. I'm not understanding what teams didn't see in him, why they didn't draft him earlier. This kid is a baller. Jauan Jennings looks great, and if this kid in any way, shape, or form is who he was for his 2019 season, yeah, man, we got us a steal in the 7th round. A flat out steal. This is another Kyle Shanahan pick, though. That's obvious. Most of these picks were all Kyle. I think the defense is set. Them feeling the need to replace Defoe with Kinlaw. After that, I think, Kyle and John just said, hey, the issues we had were on offense, and it was with wide receivers. So we need to go out. We need to figure out what we can do to be able to make sure that these wide receivers do what they need to do and get Jimmy some weapons. So I can dig that. I can dig that at all. So you got to remember, we have 2 wide receivers in the draft. We got Brandon Ayuk from ASU, and we got this kid, Jauan Jennings, out of Tennessee. Now, what's really, I'm still baffled, man. If you haven't seen Juwan Jennings highlight, you might want to watch that. This kid is amazing. He does everything, and if you got, to me, it's like they drafted fairly well for the little capital that they had. So you gotta think about it, man. Ayuk is 5'11", Juwan's 6'3". So if you slap Ayuk in the slot, you leave Debo on one side, you put Juwan on the outside, doesn't sound too bad, does it? You know what I mean? So there it is, guys. Those are our draft picks. Those are just some of their statistical numbers. I've done some research on them, and I must say that, outside of the tight end, everybody seems very impressive. Very, very impressive. The tape, the film study, and even the numbers all seem to work out very well for us. So we got ourselves a versatile tackle who can play tackle and guard. We got ourselves two wide receivers, two viable guys who seem to be able, by tape, do whatever we want them to do. They are versatile. They can make plays. They can do what they need to do. We got ourselves a defensive tackle to replace DeForest Buckner, so we're good there. And this is just another situation where it's going to create continual competition on that line. If we didn't draft a defensive tackle, we were going to be looking for Solomon Thomas to just explode this year. But maybe they don't have enough faith in the guy. So that says, hey, look, we drafted this young kid to come in and take the spot you were supposed to have, that we were supposed to give you. What you gonna do? And drafting two wide receivers, that put the wide receiver rule on notice. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's three specific people, three of them on notice right now: Dante Pettis, Jalen Hurd, Trent Taylor. Those three people are on notice. And the reason I state that, we don't know what your situation is, Mr. Hurd. You got a bad back. And a bad back ain't good for business. Bad back will keep you off the field forever. The man couldn't even take a flight, people, because they were too worried it would re-aggravate the injury. Now, some word says, hey, this man's got clearance from his doctors to do what he needs to do. Some people say, we still don't know. We're waiting for our doctors to evaluate him with the 49ers to make sure that he can do what he does. But we don't know. Trent, unfortunately, had some injuries the last couple of years. Was having a great camp. Got injured. Needed surgery. Didn't pan out well. You know what I'm saying? Dante, you've been on notice since the last year. You better come in with a hunger and a fire in your stomach like no other. Because other than that, these two young men are going to take your fucking job just the way Debo did. You wonder why you wound up getting relegated to being a backup? Because you didn't put it in the time and you didn't put in the effort. I'm going to tell you right now that the receivers on the squad, more so that I would say are safe, are KB and Debo. KB safe because KB been doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? 5 red zone TD, like KB, nah, you can't. If you look at the receiving room right now, with the guys that we have, technically speaking, that are healthy, it's going to go Ayuk, Jennings, Debo, KB, and Dante. Those are the healthy receivers that we have. Along with Richie James Jr. Completely forgot about him. But guys who are on notice I have to add Richie to that too. He's gonna wind up as the fourth guy on notice, to be working harder to make that squad. And the reason specifically is you're going to have guys coming in there to compete to take your job. They want your spot and they will fight for it. Juwan Jennings is a steal in the 7th round. Looking at this guy's film and his tape, I have no idea what happened to him that 1 year. He may have gotten injured or whatever the case may be, but he wound up getting himself another year eligibility. He's all right. So, once again, these are our guys. This is the draft. The one thing I see about this specific draft is wide receivers be on notice because you got two dudes that are beasts that want to come take your job. Once again, I am good with the draft. Don't mind the picks. Picks worked out well. Kinlaw replaces Defoe. Ayuk and Jennings give us some more wide receiver help that we didn't have. Mikovic gives us a versatile offensive lineman that can play all over the line as far as guard or tackle. Warner, another blocking tight end, so I look at him almost like a Levine Toilolo. But that's it. Those are the guys. Once again, people, I will stand pat. John Lynch has no idea how to make trades in the draft. None. His trade moves sucked ass. I'm not changing that. Y'all stay 49 faithful. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And definitely, I'm always open for healthy conversation. Always. At any given moment. Y'all stay blessed. Peace.